My child, I want you to think back to the moment everything changed. The moment the ground shifted beneath your feet so suddenly and so violently that you did not even have time to brace yourself before you felt yourself going down. You remember that moment. You have replayed it more times than you can count. You have gone over it in the quiet hours of the night when sleep will not come, turning it over and over in your mind, looking at it from every angle, asking yourself what you could have done differently, wondering if you had made a different choice, or taken a different path, or listened to a different voice, whether any of this would have happened the way it happened. And I want to speak directly into that moment right now. Not to minimize it, not to tell you that it did not hurt as badly as it did, not to rush past the realness of what you experienced, but to give you something that the enemy has been working very hard to keep you from having ever since that moment happened. I want to give you the truth about what that moment actually was, because the story the enemy told you about that moment, the story that says you fell because I was not paying attention, the story that says you stumbled because I had removed my hand from your life, the story that says what broke your stride was proof that you were never really on the right path to begin with. That story is the most dangerous lie he has ever spoken over your life. And today I am dismantling it completely, permanently, and with the full authority of heaven behind every single word I am about to say to you. What broke your stride was never meant to end your journey. I want you to read that again. What broke your stride, the thing that knocked the wind out of you, the thing that stopped you in your tracks, the thing that made you question everything you thought you knew about yourself and about me and about the direction your life was supposed to go, was never, not for one single second, designed to be the ending of your story. It was designed to be the turning point. There is a difference between an ending and a turning point that the enemy does not want you to understand.
Because if you ever truly grasp that difference, if you ever fully see that the thing that looked like it was destroying your journey was actually redirecting it towards something far greater than the path you were originally on, his power over your mind in that area collapses completely and he loses one of his most effective weapons against you. I need you to understand something about the way I work in the lives of the people I love. I do not always stop the stumble. Sometimes I allow the stumble because the stumble is the only thing powerful enough to make you look up. Think about that for a moment. When everything in your life was going smoothly, when the path was clear and the momentum was strong and the wind was at your back, how often did you stop and look up? How often did you pause in the middle of the forward motion to seek my face, to sit in my presence, to ask me not just for direction but for relationship, not just for blessing but for the blesser himself? I am not saying this to condemn you. I am saying it because I know you, and I know that the season before the stumble had slowly, quietly, almost imperceptibly become a season where you were moving fast but moving in a direction that was taking you further from the deepest version of what I designed for your life. And the momentum itself was making it harder and harder for you to slow down enough to hear my voice clearly. And so I did what only a father who loves his child completely would do. I allowed the thing that slowed you down, not to punish you, not because I was angry with you, not because you had disqualified yourself from the journey I planned for you, but because I loved you too much to let you arrive at a destination that looked like success on the outside but would have left you empty on the inside. Too much to let you build a life on a foundation that felt solid but had cracks in it that only the pressure of time would reveal. Too much to let you keep running in a direction that was good when I had already prepared something that was great. The stumble was not my rejection of you. The stumble was my redirection of you. And there is a difference so significant, so life-changing, so completely transformative in how you understand and carry every painful thing that has happened to you that I need you to sit with it until it moves from your head down into the deepest place in your heart and becomes the lens through which you see not just the past, but everything that is still to come. I have watched you since that moment. I have watched you try to get back up and slip again. I have watched you pull yourself to your knees only to feel the weight of discouragement push you back down. I have watched you look at where you used to be and feel the grief of a person who has lost something they cannot get back, who is trying to find their footing in a landscape that looks completely different from everything they were familiar with, who is walking forward but doing it slowly and painfully and with a limp that they are not sure is ever going to fully heal. And I want to say something to you about that limp, because the limp you are carrying right now is not a sign of your weakness. It is a mark of your survival. It is the physical evidence that you went through something that should have finished you and it did not finish you, that the enemy threw everything he had at you in that season and you are still standing, still breathing, still moving forward, even if forward feels like crawling right now. And I want to tell you something about the people in my word who walked with a limp. Jacob wrestled with me through the entire night, and when the morning came, he was walking with a limp, but he was also walking with a blessing so significant, so identity-defining, so completely life-altering that his name was changed, and the nation that would carry my promise to the world came out of his lineage. His limp was not a defeat. His limp was a trophy. His limp was the mark of a man who refused to let go even when everything in his body was screaming at him to give up, who held on through the darkest and most painful hours of his life, and came out the other side with something that no amount of smooth, uninterrupted, comfortable living could have ever produced in him. And beloved, that is your story too. The limp you are walking with right now is not the sign that the journey is over. It is the sign that you survived the fight that was supposed to stop you. And the God who watched Jacob limp into his destiny is the same God who is watching you right now, and he is saying to you with the same love, the same faithfulness, the same unwavering commitment to your completion that he had for Jacob. Keep walking. The destination I designed for you has not changed. The calling I placed on your life has not been canceled. The purpose I breathed into you before you were born has not been reassigned to someone who stumbles less. Keep walking, because what broke your stride was never meant to end your journey, and the best chapters of that journey are still ahead of you. Now I need to take you somewhere deeper, deeper than the surface of what happened, deeper than the pain of the stumble, deeper than the confusion of the season you have been trying to make sense of ever since the ground shifted beneath your feet. I need to take you to the place where the real truth lives, the truth that the enemy has been guarding like a locked door because he knows that the moment you see what is on the other side of it, everything changes. And here is that truth. The road was not taken from you. The road was not destroyed. The road was not given to someone else while you were down on the ground trying to figure out how to stand back up. The road was upgraded. While you were in the middle of the most disorienting, most painful, most confusing season of your life, while you were trying to make sense of why everything that was moving so well suddenly stopped, while you were grieving the momentum you lost and the time you felt was wasted and the version of your future that seemed to disappear overnight, I was working, I was redesigning, I was taking the path that was good and expanding it into something great, taking the dream that was yours and enlarging it into something that your previous version could not have carried, taking the calling that was real and adding dimensions to it that you did not even know were possible, that you would not have known to ask for, that you could not have seen from where you were standing before the stumble brought you to a lower place where the view of what I was building became suddenly, unexpectedly, breathtakingly clear. The detour was not a demotion. The detour was a construction zone, and you cannot rush through a construction zone. You have to slow down. You have to follow the redirected path. You have to trust that the temporary inconvenience of the longer route is going to result in a road so much better than the original that you are going to be grateful for every moment it took to build it. And I want to speak to something specific right now that has been quietly destroying your peace from the inside: the comparison. I know you have been watching. I know you have been looking at the people around you who did not stumble, who kept their stride, who seem to be further along the road than you are right now. And I know what that comparison has been doing to your heart. I know it has been whispering to you that you are behind, that you missed your window, that the gap between where you are and where you thought you would be by now is too wide to close, that the people who kept moving while you were down have gotten so far ahead that catching up is no longer a realistic possibility. And I need to interrupt that thought process right now with the full force of heaven behind my words. You are not in a race with them. You have never been in a race with them. The journey I designed for you was never meant to look like their journey, was never meant to move at their pace, was never meant to follow their timeline or arrive at their destination, because their destination is not your destination, their calling is not your calling, their story is not your story, and the path I built specifically for you cannot be compared to the path I built specifically for them, any more than you can compare two completely different paintings and declare one unfinished simply because it does not look like the other. Your journey has its own pace, your breakthrough has its own timing, your arrival has its own season, and the fact that you stumbled while others seem to glide does not mean that they are winning and you are losing. It means that you are being prepared for something that requires a different kind of strength than the kind that develops in smooth, uninterrupted, comfortable seasons of forward motion. Think about the most significant, most powerful, most world-changing people who ever walked through the pages of my word. Not one of them had a journey that looked like smooth, unbroken, uninterrupted forward progress from beginning to end. Joseph had a pit before he had a palace. David had a wilderness before he had a throne. Ruth had a devastating loss before she had a redemption story so beautiful that her name was written into the lineage of the Savior of the world. Peter had a denial before he had a Pentecost. Paul had a blindness before he had a revelation. Every single one of them had a moment, a defining, identity-shaking, faith-testing moment, where their stride was broken, where the forward momentum stopped, where what they thought their journey looked like was suddenly and completely dismantled right in front of their eyes.
And in every single case, without one single exception, what came after the broken stride was greater, deeper, more significant, more impactful, more aligned with the true purpose of their lives than anything that had come before it. The pit made Joseph's palace mean something it never could have meant without it. The wilderness made David's throne carry a wisdom and a humility that it never could have carried without it. The loss made Ruth's redemption a testimony that has spoken to millions of broken hearts across thousands of years of human history. The denial made Peter's Pentecost a story of grace so powerful that it has been giving hope to every person who has ever felt like they failed beyond recovery ever since the moment it happened. And your stumble, your specific, painful, personal stumble, is doing the same thing in your story right now. It is not the chapter that ends the book. It is the chapter that makes every chapter that follows it carry a weight, a depth, a meaning, and a power that it never could have carried without it. I want to tell you what I see when I look at the road ahead of you, because I need you to have a vision of what is coming that is stronger than the memory of what you went through. I see a version of you walking in a freedom and a confidence and a settled peace that the version of you before the stumble did not fully possess, because that version had not yet been through the thing that proves to a person beyond any shadow of doubt that they can survive the worst and come out the other side still standing, still believing, still moving forward. I see doors opening in front of you that the enemy assumed he had permanently closed. Doors that I held shut during the season of your stumble, not to keep you out, but to keep you from entering before you were ready to handle what was on the other side, before you had developed the character and the depth and the unshakable foundation that what is behind those doors is going to require of you. I see people entering your life who are going to look at where you have been and where you are going and what you survived in between, and they are going to be changed by your story in ways that you cannot yet imagine, because your stumble is going to become someone else's saving grace. Your broken stride is going to become someone else's proof that getting back up is possible. Your journey through the hardest season of your life is going to become the exact testimony that pulls someone else back from the edge of giving up completely. I see the dream that you thought the stumble killed coming back to life in a form so much bigger, so much clearer, so much more aligned with who you truly are and what you were truly created to do, that you are going to look at the original version and understand why I had to let it break before I could rebuild it into what it was always supposed to be. I see a finish line that has your name written on it in heaven. Not the finish line you were originally running toward, but one so much more glorious, so much more significant, so much more worth every step of the journey that it took to get there, that the word reward will not even begin to cover what you feel when you finally cross it. So here is what I am asking you to do right now. And I am not asking you to do something easy. I am asking you to do something that requires every ounce of the faith that the difficult season you have been walking through has been building inside of you. I am asking you to make a decision right now, in this moment, with full knowledge of everything you have been through and everything you are still carrying. I am asking you to decide that the stumble was not the end. I am asking you to decide that the broken stride was not the final chapter. I am asking you to decide that the road is still yours, that the journey is still happening, that the destination I designed for you is still waiting, and that the God who allowed the stumble is the same God who has been holding your hand through every single painful step of getting back up, and who is going to carry you across every mile that remains between where you are right now and where you were always meant to arrive. Make that decision. Declare it out loud. Let it rise up from the deepest place in your spirit and come out of your mouth as the most powerful declaration you have made since the stumble first knocked the wind out of you. Because the enemy is listening. And when he hears a child of God declare their faith in the middle of the storm, in the middle of the confusion, in the middle of the season that was supposed to silence them, something breaks in the atmosphere over their life. Chains that have been holding them back begin to snap. Doors that have been sealed begin to crack open. Things that have been stuck begin to move. And the journey that looked like it was over begins again with a momentum so powerful, so divinely fueled, so backed by the full force of heaven that nothing, absolutely nothing, will be able to stop it from reaching the destination that God Himself designed for it before the foundation of the world. Right now, before you scroll, before you move on, before the busyness of life pulls you back into the noise, I need you to put your hand over your heart and type these words in the comments. My stride is broken, but my journey is not over. I'm still going. Type it right now. Not for anyone else. Type it for yourself. Type it as a declaration to every dark voice that has been telling you that you are finished. Type it as a message to the enemy who thought the stumble would silence you. Type it as a word of faith to the version of yourself that is still lying on the ground, wondering if getting back up is even worth it. Because it is worth it. You are worth it. The journey is worth it. And the God who designed that journey has never once stopped believing in your ability to complete it. Not through the stumble, not through the darkest night, not through the longest silence, not through a single moment of the entire difficult, beautiful, purposeful, heaven-back journey of your one extraordinary life. Type it, mean it, and watch what God does next. Because the best is not behind you. The best has been waiting for you on the other side of the very thing that tried to stop you, and you are closer to it right now than you have ever been.